All right, let's talk about seller seminars. And as we're thinking about this, I think that
Firstly, this is coming from a one pager, right? This is one of the top agents in our KW ecosystem is truly running a play that looks that is this, right? And when we're talking about just building a big business, there's many ways to do this. And when we're thinking about going out and getting leads, right? The biggest thing is we know leads, listings, leverage. Like that's what we're here to do. And so today we're going to talk about the strategy from a one pager. We're going to kind of sprinkle some other stuff in it, but hopefully this is helpful however we want to implement this. So the first step in this one pager as it's rolled out is create the seller workshop. All right. So before we jump into this, let's talk about this. When we think about Keller Williams, again, we talk about the three L's: leads, listings, leverage, right? We need leads. From leads, we get more listings. From more listings, we get more leverage. And what that helps us do is we get into this triangle. We start thinking about a million, then we gross a million, which is earned, then we net a million, we receive a million, and then we're able to give $1 million, right? Like that's what this is. Like money's good for the good that money can do. And everything that we're talking about should be how can we generate more income? And on the outside of our triangle, right, we talk about our service plan, our value proposition, our database. Like these are the things that we should truly be thinking about inside of building any businesses that we're building, right? At the end of the day, becoming the real estate economist of choice is going to be coming through into the service plan, right? And how you are building a business. Because at the end of the day, let's just think about where we are. We're in the state of Colorado. There's north of 30,000 real estate agents. So, what makes you different? And I think that a couple different things that we can think about, and it's really just providing value. It's how are we taking care of all of our clients? Like, do we have an SOP? And do we have a database that we're constantly feeding? So let's look at this create the seller workshop, right? So the first thing that they're doing is identifying 5 to 10 questions sellers should be asking during the listing appointment. All right. So they're going through and they're identifying the top 5 to 10 questions. All right. And guess what? Put it through ChatGPT, right? If you're thinking like, hey, I don't have a big enough business yet. I haven't had too many listings. I've worked with mostly buyers. Throw through ChatGPT, or maybe reach out to one of the agents inside the market center and just say, "Hey, Debbie, Katie, Ryan, right? Elena, Linda Arcos, right? Reach out to our ALC. Reach out to the ALC and say, hey, what is one question that you get on every listing appointment and see what that looks like from them. Then what we're going to do is we are going to build a presentation around these questions, right? You could, and again, throw through Google, right? Put the questions in there. Put the questions in ChatGPT. Throw the questions out into this ecosystem of our brokerage, because that's the power of the brokerage, is that we have this hive mentality with over 120 agents where we get to actually stand on the shoulders of giants and ask them questions. So then that's what the presentation is going to be around. Because here's the thing: if all of these answers, because we found them on Google, we found them from our top agents, and we found them on ChatGPT, they're going to be correlated. They're going to be the pretty much the same questions that every seller has. And that's where ChatGPT and Google sourcing all their questions and answers is from people putting the questions in the servers. So then we're going to go through and we need to put together this workshop, right? And as we're going through and we're putting on this workshop, keep it to an hour. I think that's one of the biggest things that we need to do is people start getting antsy, right? Like, let's just take a team meeting, for example, right? We go into a team meeting starts going over time, and you start seeing people, you start like people are on a timetable, right? You said that this is the amount of time that you are going to present during that timetable. And then let's go through and put together some topics, right? We need to have more topics that we're going to go through. Decluttering before selling, necessary repairs, the staging process, right? Before and after photos, the listing agreement, the full overview of the home selling process. Like, guys, guess what we're doing here? Yes, we're answering questions. We are telling sellers these are the things that you need to be thinking about when you are selling your home, but you're also doing a listing appointment. Be thinking about this. Like you're doing a listing appointment, 20,000 foot view. Do people that have questions? Think about the people that are signing up for this. I'm going to suspect that they may or may not have a real estate agent. And I'd be willing to bet that they have a home that they're thinking about selling, and you get to be in front of these people. Now, as I'm looking at this thing, I might say, like, you know what? I probably want to consult a stager. I may want to consult my photographer. I may want to consult a repair person, right? Like, have all of these people. And these are things that we should be doing regardless of if we're going to execute this workshop, this seminar, right? Like when we're thinking about these are the people, these are our vendor partners that we should already have, right? We should be conduit. We should be Google. People should be reaching out to us and saying, hey, I need a handyman. Who do you know? I need a roofer. I need insert whatever here. And you are the real estate agent, the real estate economist of choice that has the answers. So as we're going through this workshop, like these are the different things that we should be looking at. Then we need to drive attendance, right? Because at the end of the day, I think that most agents have two fears about running one of these plays. One's if I get asked hard questions that I don't know the answers to. And number two, one's if nobody shows up, right? I think that's probably like the biggest fear before anyone puts on one of these seminars is those. So the cadence that these guys are running is it's a once a month play. All right. So they're doing this thing once a month, but they're going through and they're marketing this event daily. All right. So, and I think that that might sound a little daunting, but let's take a look at this. They might be doing some direct mail. Now, the direct mail, this is what the direct mail is going to probably look like. The direct mail is going to be if you are doing it for Arvada or maybe for a prominent neighborhood. So, like, check this out. What would it look like to partner with the title company? And you're partnering with Land Title and you say, hey guys, can you give me the top 3 neighborhoods in the area where there's a high turnover rate right now? All right. So they can actually pull that data. They can actually give you the data of the neighborhoods where they're actually seeing houses being sold. So then that might say, okay, well, hey, there's obviously some kind of activity happening in this neighborhood. What would it look like to do a direct mail campaign to this neighborhood and talk about the top 10 questions that most sellers have, right? You're going through and you're doing your direct mail campaign. Newspaper and magazine ads, like this could be done. I'm not saying that you need to go out and run this play, but yet you could. We go through social media, both paid and organic. There's going to be people that are in your ecosystem that might not be living in that neighborhood that maybe you're doing these direct mail campaigns to, but yet they might see it and it might actually spark, oh yeah, so and so's a real estate agent. I have been thinking about selling my house. I'm going to go to this event. And then if you run it a paid event, and so this is how I'd run a paid. I'm not saying do a Facebook ad. What I would say though is if you do put up an Eventbrite or you do something with some kind of lead capture that's associated with it, I would do a boosted post. A boosted post is going to cost less money than a paid ad. And the reason why a paid ad versus a boosted post are different is you can still target essentially the same demographics of people that you're looking for. But yet on the paid ad side, it has the lead capture form already associated with it. Where the boosted post, if you're boosting a post that already has like a Eventbrite to where they have a registration page, it's significantly cheaper. So I would say put together this seminar on a platform that already allows you to lead capture and just boost post if you're going to do the paid side. And then it says add it to your email signature. And I think here's the thing that we need to be thinking about. And I did put this photo of Linktree up here. I don't know if anyone's played with a Linktree account, but a Linktree account's pretty neat. And they have both paid and unpaid versions. And obviously, the paid versions, you can unlock some more things. But yet, I don't necessarily think that you need a paid Linktree account. But you can actually go through and have all your stuff. You can have all your social media platforms on there. You can have your website put on there. You could have this event put on there. You can have so many different things. Like on mine, like on my link tree, if you guys were to go into my link tree, like you'll see past listings that are going to be on there. It has my YouTube channel that's on there, right? It has any business that I'm affiliated with. It has those all subsected. So we should be making sure that we're pushing our event out in our emails. I mean, I think the worst case scenario on this thing for if someone were to raise their hand, like the absolute worst case scenario, you actually might find a vendor partner that wants to partner with you and can add value. Like, I think that's I know that you're all thinking, well, the very worst thing if would be that it doesn't do anything. Yeah, I get that. But yet, I think at the very minimum, a hand might go up from a vendor partner that wants to partner with you and help promote your event. Or someone might have a venue that might say, hey, I would actually like to be your venue when you host these events, and this is what I can do for your people. And so let's not sleep on all the different ways. So when we're talking about market the event daily, it's not like you're putting together some big Facebook, Instagram, TikTok marketing package, but yet you probably have a landing page on your website, right? And you all have the ability through command to do a standalone site. You're probably going through, and yes, it's on your email signature. You're doing maybe a couple social media posts, maybe some video, maybe some stills. Maybe you're going to the local library and posting it out there. Like there's going to be some different things that we're going to do for this marketing. I did pull the Keller Williams marketing playbook, right? So that's the second thing that you're actually seeing at the bottom. This isn't a part of this one pager. But yeah, when we start talking about this, right, we start talking about either prospecting or marketing. And we should all be prospecting based, but marketing enhanced. But yet, this is what we're doing. To start, is we market to capture this big net, right? I think of it like if we're fishing, marketing's the net. We're just throwing it out there and we're seeing what we can catch with it. And then I actually think of prospecting as the fishing pole, right? We're throwing the fishing pole out there and it's 1-to-1. This is 1-to-many. We're trying to get as many eyes on this event as humanly possible. And so the marketing side of things, right? We have advertising. We can go through, we can say newspaper, personal vehicles, right? Like maybe you have a QR barcode to your Linktree account, someone scans it and it's taking them to this event. Magazines, bus stop benches, right? We have name badges, all these things to market us. Online, right? We can do SEO, we can do social media, we have our portals, like all kinds of different ways we can promote ourselves. What would it look like to, reach out to someone that does press releases and get out there, right? You're doing some of these events and you're saying that, hey, like one of the things that we do is this monthly seminar. You can broadcast it, right? We can do ads, promotional voice, email. Like we get this, we understand it. Sponsorship, open house event, right? So you do have an open house event. You go through, you're doing your open house event, probably in one of these neighborhoods, right? Like, what if we were to layer this on? We go talk to the title company. They say these are the top 3 neighborhoods where sales are happening. And then we actually get super purposeful about hosting open houses in those neighborhoods. And then on top of that, we have a QR barcode to scan for our next seminar that we will be running this month, right? We just keep layering this stuff on. We might have a charity, a community event, right? We talk about geographical versus demographic farming. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Especially as we're talking about this, you can actually say this is the neighborhood, or for this, the demographic would be sellers. And then we talk about direct mail, right? Postcards, special events, all these different ways is how we know to market. But we need to drive attendance because I know that's one of the biggest fears that people have. But then we got to run the workshop. right? And so here's your, I guess, your pro tip, right? If this is making you uncomfortable, find a partner. Like have a lender there with you, right? Split this stuff up. Have a stager there with you. Have the contractor there with you. Like find someone, give them a slide or two, and let them have a conversation. And it should be two-way, right? Keep it fun, relaxed, and interactive. Here's the big thing. While, yes, there's going to be some people that may just want to sit and listen and be able to soak it all in right through osmosis, because we know that's how some people learn. There's also going to be people that are going to want to learn by asking questions. And guess what? The question asking learners, well, the listeners are still going to be able to listen. And you're going to enhance both parties at that point, their experience. And so you want to go through and just make it to where it is an event, it is fun, and where people feel safe asking questions. And again, the monologue, there's going to be certain times where it should not be one-on-one. Then your closing script, and here's the script that they use. They say, "Thank you all for joining us today. In the next day or two, you will hear from one of the team members who you visited with. You're going to create a plan, set up your in-home consultation, and we want to do this because today we spoke very generally about the selling process. And when we meet you in your home, we will discuss specifics that apply only to you." And so now you're planting the seed like, hey, we're going to be reaching out. Thank you for showing up today. We know it was beneficial. We know that your home's unique. And we're going to be reaching out to see what other value we can provide to you. All right. And here's the thing, guys. This is why I think that you need to have your vendor list. You need to be able to give them other value, because once they say no, not right now. Well, awesome. Hey, I get that. You might not be ready. Is there anything from what we talked about? Are you needing a painter? Are you needing a roofer? Would you like me to set up any of these appointments? I have these resources, right? And then we can stay in this two-way dialogue. Now, what I did do is I did screenshot these from the website. Like this is actually from their website, from where we're reading these one pagers. And so you can see that they have April 8th, the 22nd, the 29th, and May 6th coming up. And you can see that it says home prep staging, right? They're all home prep staging, but look, they're actually changing the neighborhoods. I think this is smart, right? Where we could actually go through and maybe we are finding, I don't know, ones that we're finding the local library that's in this area and reaching out to them and say, hey, I'd like to host an event. And yes, they're going to say, well, hey, you can do that, but we're going to have to probably open it up to people that go to the library as well. And you're like, oh no, more people are watching the show, more at bats. Like that's a-okay. So we can do this. You could also run it at the brokerage. Like you guys all have access, 24/7 access. Now, I think it'd be weird to run a 2 a.m. Seller seminar on a Tuesday night, but yet rock and roll. You can run them on the weekends. You just have to partner with Elizabeth and say like, hey, I would like to reserve the conference room. We just make sure that we have the space and that it's yours. But this is what they're doing. And so they're going through and they've actually broken it into neighborhoods, communities. And I would be willing to bet that these are the top selling communities in their area. And they say, hey, like, this is what you expect to learn. They're going to talk about decluttering, staging, painting, and prep. They're going to talk about strategic marketing techniques, how we bulletproof the transaction, detailed analysis of the local market data, and recent industry changes. Like they're going to go over all this. They're saying like, hey, I am the real estate economist of choice for you. And with that being said, these are the things that we're going to go over that you can expect to learn today. Here's my 10 bullet points. Here's my vendor partner. This is what I'm going to guarantee that you're going to walk away knowing. So this is the things that we're going to put inside the workshop. Then obviously we have to follow up. Here's the thing. I think that a lot of times we do something, let's call it an open house, right? We go through, we find our open house. We get to the open house early. We put up the yard signs. We're making sure that it's clean. We open it up. We host the open house for a couple hours. Then we lock down. We go collect the signs. Maybe we're having to drive the signs back to the brokerage, right? Because we borrowed them. And we're like, man, that was a long waste of time. And I didn't get anything out of it. Everyone was represented. Well, here's the thing, like, what other follow up are we doing to provide value? What are we doing? What conversations are we having? Because there's also going to be one or two people. So, firstly, we need to make sure that when we're at the seminar, we're gathering information. You're going to have two different types of information. You're going to have the people that signed up that didn't show, and you're going to have the people that signed up and did show. And I would be willing to bet the third group of people that you might get, especially if you're hosting it at like the library, is the people that didn't sign up that did show that are interested. So if we're going through, what we need to do is we're making sure that we're following up, right? Like that's the biggest thing. And so we just saw their hey, we will follow up script, but we need to go through and we need to make sure that we're reaching out to them. And they said this: add them to your touch plan minimum once a quarter. So the play that they're running, they're saying like these people that showed up to list that are interested in listing their house, maybe after your phone call, you find out that they're not ready right now, but they need the information. Minimum, let's just reach out once per quarter. And we're going to look at their conversion rates here at the end of this. Like, I'm looking at this, I'm like, this sounds pretty solid. Then we go through and it's using command. You guys have a CRM that's at no added cost to you, right? It's part of your monthly fee. And if we look at the bottom left-hand side, like, and the top right, this is your pipeline. I think the issue that we get into is we don't put these people in these cultivate stages. Yeah, everyone on this call, you're going to put them in the active, under contract, closed, but who is actively tracking their conversations? As we go in here, we create a contact card for them, and we're making sure, right? Name, phone number, email, we're putting all that information in. And then we're moving them through these stages. And what's cool about these stages, if you can see on this right-hand side, they have these numbers, right? This one's 2 of 15, this one's 6 of 12. You're going through and you actually put the tasks that are associated with these buckets. You can also see this. It's showing you your potential income, right? You're going through and you're saying that, hey, this person's interested in buying or selling this dollar home. Here's your potential income. And then you actually have a visual representation, right? Like you're looking at this cultivate stage. People are typically living in this thing for less than 1 day. Then after we have the appointment with them, they live in it for about 15 days. Then they're on the market, active about 15 days. We're in the under contract process for about 23. And then when we close, they live in here for about 5 days until we get all the closing stuff done. So as we're looking at this, this is a great tool. And I think of like free CRM, free command. I think about the boards, right? Like that's what I'm envisioning right now. I'm envisioning these real estate agents who have these giant boards and they're writing all the information down. But here's the thing, I think that's great. If you have an office and you're sitting in your office for hours a day, but yet, how do you keep it top of mind when you're not sitting at your desk? This is the power of command. And it also is going to add up the days. It's going to show you the dollars. I'm imploring everyone, start using the cultivate piece. You have a conversation with someone that is a warm lead, put them in here and start watching the process. So we're looking at it, right? Here's your pro tips, right? Use chat for engagement and hosting this digitally. Like, here's the thing. Maybe you're listening to this and you're like, Charles, I don't want to do this in person. I just don't. We're learning about a seller seminar on Zoom. Can't I just do it via Zoom? And the answer is yes. You absolutely can. Now here's your pro tip. I would absolutely make sure that at this point that I do have a buddy system, right? The lender, the contractor, the whoever, that they can actually, whoever's not talking at that time, that they can be engaging with the questions or even asking questions for you, right? So use the chat to make sure that things are happening. And maybe you have handouts, PDFs that you're saying, hey guys, we just dropped this in the chat. Here is from my photographer, right? V1 photography. And here are there's their checklist of the 15 things that you need to do before we get photos of your house, right? And you're handing out these resources. Then we need to make sure that we're driving people to the sign up form, right? Like I just said, when we're going through and we're doing this, don't do it for fun, right? Like this is not a checkbox. Hey, I did it. Hopefully it all works out. Like that is awful. That's how you get to burnout, right? Like if you are feeling burnout from your lead generation activities, I would challenge you to see how you're gamifying this, how you're going out and how you're making sure that you're getting people's information, how you're following up with them, right? Like that's what we should be doing. Anytime we do something, we should have a clear objective. And whether it's an open house or we're running this play, today I intend to get X amount of people's information. And that's the entire game, the whole day that we play. So as we're going through the sign up forms, we need name, phone number, email, their physical address. Guys, these people showed up for a seller seminar. They have a home to sell. And yes, we all, if you're part of DMAR, right, you have, or Smedra, you have access to Forewarn. And if you have their phone number, you can probably look up their address. Also, if you have RE Colorado, we have access to Realist, where you just type in someone's name and you can probably find their address, right? Like we have access to all this, but yet let's get in the habit of asking for it. Let's get in the habit of putting out the information, providing so much value that they want to give it to us. We want to know how many beds and baths they have, right? Like, here's the thing. You've already prepped them that you're going to be reaching out for their consult at their home. So let's do some pre-work and let's make sure that we understand, like, you might go to the assessor's office, right? You're probably thinking to yourself, like, Charles, won't the assessor's office tell me beds and baths? Yes, only if the information has been updated, if they've done any updates to their house. Like if they've added a bedroom and the assessor isn't aware of it and the home hasn't been in the MLS, it's going to reflect the tax records. So that's why you want them to tell you, like, hey, I got an extra bedroom. Hey, we actually put a bathroom in, right? You want to find out how they heard about the event because you might want to pour more into it, right? How long they've lived in their home. And again, you can find out all this information. And I would suggest going back and looking, but yet ask them, when you look at this top right corner, this is also from their website, right? Are you concerned about a home inspection, unsure what repairs, if any? Do you have years of accumulated stuff? Would you benefit from learning exactly what you need to do to get your home ready? And so this is where my head goes, right? Like I'm looking at these questions and we just thought of like the top 10, 15 questions that we should be asking either top agents or the questions that we're getting at our listing presentation or chat GPT, whatever. What would it look like to take some of this information, make a reel out of it, and now you're pushing this information on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on YouTube, right? And you're going through and you're doing this, and then your call to action is, hey, if this sounds like you, and if you have this question, here are your top three like answers. But if you're wanting to dive a little bit deeper into it, come join us at our next seller seminar on this date. And just keep running it and running it and running it. At the bottom left-hand side, you can actually see, guys, like inside of your command. And as we're going through and capturing all this information for follow-up, because we're not doing this for funsies, right? We're not a nonprofit. We're not the March of Dimes. Like we're going through and yes, we want to provide value for people, but yet we're doing it because this is our business. We're business owners. So then we're going through and we're looking at this. Guys, it'll actually tell you like what percentage of your database, right? We're knowing that we need the people's phone numbers. We need their emails. We need their addresses. It should, if we have their addresses, we know that our system is linked with next door. And so it actually tells us the next door neighborhood that they're associated with. If we know how long they lived in their home, we have their home anniversary and people's birthdays. Like, this is the information that we should be gathering to build deeper relationships. And we have numerous touch points at this point. We can communicate via phone. We can communicate via email. We can actually go to their home. We can actually provide them specific data about their home, right? We look at this and we have all of this information. What about a happy home anniversary? You've lived in your home for 4 years now. Once someone shows up, you have when they bought their home, you actually find out that they bought their home in April. Maybe they bought their home April 5th. You host this event, today's the 3rd. April 5th rolls around and they get a happy home anniversary from you. There are other real estate agents not doing that, right? That person that forgot about them after they closed on that deal, right? So what are we doing to set ourselves apart? And like, this is the information we should absolutely have for numerous strategic touch points. So there's a seller seminar. You guys can, if you're on your phone or if you're on your computer, you can actually just scan this and get this. It's just inside of our command, right? Like, that's the play. This is everything that we pulled from these slides that we just looked over. But check this out. Here is their conversion data. And be thinking about this. 4,000 mailers. Okay, so let's, over the course of a year, right? We're talking that if we're doing this, this is probably around $2,000 if we do the mailers. But they're getting about 25 to 30 groups per year signed up. Now, they don't say how many people are in a group, but what they do say is anywhere from 25 to 30 attendees. They expect 4 to 5 listing appointments from that night. All right, so we get 20 to 30 attendees. We're going to get 4 to 5 listing appointments. Let's just say that your conversion rate is 25%. All right. You have a 25% conversion rate. And let's go on the low end of listing appointments. You are converting one of those listing appointments out of 25 to 30 attendees out of your 4 to 5 listing appointments. Now, if we were to look at this, let's just pretend, right? Let's go 30 attendees. Maybe you get 30 per quarter, right? Maybe you're not getting 30. Maybe you're only getting 10 per month. So you get 30 per quarter. And I think this is going to be important math to kind of look at. So you're getting 10 per month, which is 30 per quarter, which means that out of that per quarter, you should get, let's just call it four listing appointments. Now, out of those listing appointments, you're only converting 25%. You're converting 1 out of 4. What's the commission, right? What's the commission? What's the average price point in our area, right? We start talking about $600,000 is the purchase price. That means your GCI is $18,000. You have an $18,000 GCI, 4 deals, right? Because we're just saying that you're only going to get one of these per one per quarter. Let's say you sell all 4 of them in a year. That's $72,000 in GCI. $72,000 in GCI for $2,000 worth of mailers and some time. I think that maths and that makes a whole lot of sense. But I think it definitely comes down to the database, right? So we know that people with databases have a predictable business, right? Like, they can actually see it. They can show that they are feeding it, that they're interacting with it. They see this stuff. And the reason why they do it is because now they can document their ROI. How many conversations am I having? How long does it take from the initial conversation to closing? And you can actually gamify this. Like, think about everything you do. If you have a food counter, right? Like a macros, calories. If you're going through and like, I have this Whoop on my wrist, right? It tells me like how my sleep was, the activities I did, what my heart rate looked like. It does all this. Like, we gamify so many different things. We're looking at it, even Facebook now saying like, this is how many people engaged with your posts this week. This is your most engaging. Like, this is the world that we live in. How come we're not treating our business like this? And then what do we need to do with our database? Well, firstly, we need to feed it consistently. We need to segment it, right? Like, these are the people that came to my seller seminar. They're going to get different touches than the people that I might do a buyer seminar for, right? We're going to go through, we're going to engage it with a touch plan. Like, what are my monthly touches? Are we going to put them on a monthly neighborhood nurture? I know their address. Why couldn't I put them on a monthly neighborhood nurture at that point? I can put them on a home anniversary. I can put them on a birthday plan. Like we have so many different touches that are all part of command. And then over time, this is the thing, we know that over time, with us adding value and systematically and strategically communicating out to these people, your businesses will grow. Now, what are the challenges with the database, right? Because I think this is the thing. I'm telling you guys all, like, go out and work your databases. Like, firstly, let's make sure it's clean. Let's make sure we have the right data. Then go out, do an activity so we can fill it. And then we're going to strategically and systematically communicate out to it. But when we go through, this is what it is. We have an undersupply of patience, right? Where we go through and we want instant gratification. Here's the thing. Think about the last time you went on Amazon and you ordered something and it was like, it will be here in 2 weeks. And you're like, 2 weeks? I didn't go to Amazon to wait 2 weeks. Like, I got my Prime Day coming up on Thursday and I want it tomorrow, right? Like, and so this is the world that we live in. And so we have to give some of these things time. We have to put the right energy into it. And then the output is going to be what we expect. It just might take a little bit more time. It says people don't give the activities that drive tomorrow's dollars enough time to bear the fruit. We need to go through this. We need to build our database. We need to be doing something, adding value. You are the real estate economist of choice. Why wouldn't you be telling people, like, hey, these are the things that we should be thinking about when selling a house? And this is we have an oversupply of personality, right? We're just like, hey, look, I'm likable. If I go through and I just wing it, if I shoot from the hip, I'm going to win. And guess what? There's the thing, like, you will. If you do enough activities, you're going to trip over business. I promise you that. That's absolutely real. But yet, I also know this, you're going to be living on this roller coaster of you're going to have a deal 1 week, a couple weeks later, your pipeline's going to be empty. Then you're going to do another deal, and then your pipeline's going to be empty, right? So when we're systematically and strategically building the database, communicating with it, right? Building business around your personality and personal brand today instead of around your brand standards and future promises, right? Your personality does not scale. And yes, it is a tool that you can use, but yet we want to be living in this system. And so I like it, right? My challenge would be this to you guys. Get a feel for it. Go find a partner that wants to do this with you. It could be a real estate agent. Like, maybe you want to start doing some things with it. Real estate's more fun with friends. Maybe you find someone, you're like, hey, you want to do some seller seminars with me? Let's target these areas. We'll use this as our location. Maybe you do a giveaway, you pull together some money. Hey, anyone that comes today will get this, right? Like, you can do whatever. And then you're going through, or you're saying, like, no, you know what? I want a lender. I want to go partner with a lender. I want to go partner with a handyman, a stager, a photographer. Like, insert whatever here. It does not matter. But yet, what I do know is if you partner with someone, there's going to be more accountability, right? Like, there's a whole reason why I have a personal trainer. It's not because, like, I don't know how to lift weights, but yet on when I'm leaving to go home on a Tuesday or a Thursday, I know that, hey, there's somebody that's waiting for me at the gym that I'm paying, that I'm going to be letting them down by wasting their time, and I'm going to be wasting money if I don't show up to it. So get an accountability partner, whomever it is, and go run this play and see what it starts doing for your business. There's also buyer seminars. There's all kinds of different things, guys. But here's the thing that we know. We got to have something, and we have to track it. And then we're going to be able to say, red light, green light, doesn't make sense to continuously put this effort in. And we can actually see through our pipeline, through the events, like, I reach out to this person every month. This is the information that they've been getting. Here are the text messages. Here are the invites that I've been sending to them. Then you get to decide, like, are the things working? Or what you're going to notice if you're running the play inside of your CRM and you're being systematic and strategic with it, and you look through and you see the timeline has nothing in it. And then you're saying, oh, so I'm running the seminar, but then I'm not reaching out to anybody. I'm not doing any follow up. And then we can course correct from here. That's the power of being able to use your CRM, is it's going to show you your weaknesses and your vulnerabilities. But guys, I'm excited about this. Like, however we can be the conduit of information and be pouring into people, your businesses are going to explode because of this.